America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
We're losing our democracy!
More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Wake up!
Before we get into that, let's get into this. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Liberty Bowl. It is, of course, live stream Friday, as we tend to do regularly on Fridays here. Not every Friday. Sometimes we miss a few. But usually on Fridays here, we come together, talk about the news, latest going on in politics, society, and the fall of Western civilization as we know it. Not joining me tonight is Liberty Swine. I'm assuming, I'm guessing, all right? I'm guessing he fell asleep. But nonetheless, it's no problem. Get some rest, buddy. You earned it. You work hard. America. But anyway, we're going to be keeping this one short tonight because I myself actually have a pretty big day. I've had a pretty big week and got pretty big weeks to come. April's usually a pretty big, real busy month for me. I got my birthday coming up next week. So if you guys would like to get me anything, go ahead and subscribe. Share this channel out with your friends. Drop some comments. What have you. Either way, we'll see you next week as well, too. Where I'll give you another reminder to do the same. But anyway, tonight we're just going to be talking a little bit about the trade war. I'll be honest, I've been pretty busy this week. I haven't paid too much attention as to what's been going on with everything. I just kind of have a vague outline. So we're just going to be kind of fucking scrolling X, reading some news articles, looking around, seeing what we could find. We're doing our research live, fucking doing it live, everybody. All right. So, we're going to be talking about the trade wars, how it kind of narrowed down onto China. We're going to be talking about Karmelo Anthony and Tim Pool's bad legal advice. You don't want to listen to that guy when it comes to self-defense. You will end up going to prison for the rest of your life if you listen to Tim Pool. We'll be talking about that. Apparently, he's been in some hot water. Like I said, we're going to be doing a little bit of live research, maybe watching a couple other short videos, stuff like that. But yeah, we're going to be talking about that. And then we're going to be talking about something that just took place today. Donald Trump has authorized the United States military to go ahead and take control of basically federal lands along the United States southern border. It's ranging all the way from the shores of California right up to the border of Texas. Because I'm assuming because, Texas, I think probably takes care of their own borders, but either way, that's taking place today. Great day for America. Apparently, I also saw a quick little news headline. What was it? Mahmoud Khalil is they've gotten the go ahead to go ahead and proceed with deportation proceedings on that. So great time to be an American. Great time to be alive. But let's go ahead and start talking just a little bit about the trade wars, the stock market, kind of a little bit volatile at the moment. And I guess there's some allegations of insider trading. All of a sudden, the Democrats are super, super terrified of insider trading, right? And this is stemming from, of course, the tariffs, right? So, of course, the market is reacting to the tariffs. Of course, Donald Trump it seems like every day that the bar gets higher and higher between the United States and China right now. Well, on Wednesday, he went ahead and put a 90-day pause on all of the blanket tariffs, right? Which that was what we were talking about last week. The basic overall, I think, is like an overarching 10% tariff on all foreign goods, right? So a lot of people are trying to say that, it's the big ask, it's Donald Trump's the art of the deal, right? So basically he put out there like everybody's getting 35% tariffs at minimum, and China's getting 65% tariffs, blah blah blah, and everybody else went ahead and backed down like, oh no, what can we do, Donald Trump? And then he said, all right, we're just going with 10% tariffs, okay? And then everyone's like, oh yes, thank you, only 10% tariffs. So ultimately he got what he wanted, but apparently there's going to be a bit of a pause on that. And, except for China. So China has been, really kind of on the receiving end of all of this Donald Trump economic trade war, stuff going on. Because he basically, that's really the intended target if you ask me. I don't think that um, any of this is anything other than necessarily chest puffing, because ultimately, if there's what I think they're like up to like 125% or something like that now. I don't know. We're gonna go through some of these X posts and whatnot here in just a minute to try and get a little bit more of a glimpse into what's going on. But nonetheless, yeah, these 125 some odd percent tariffs, they're unrealistic, and they're really uh, like I said, it in my opinion, it seems a little bit like chest puffing. All right. So basically, Donald Trump's, nope, you've been fucking us over for years. It's not going to happen. All right. We're bringing manufacturing back to the United States. You've been stealing our intellectual properties, what have you, right? You guys know the whole spiel. And then China, on the other hand, is basically saying, oh, no, we know back down. We fight for our honor with our tariff. Right. So they're imposing tariffs back on us. And like I say, it's really at the point where it's just absolute ridiculousness now, to where basically everything is going to be 100, 200, 300% more expensive coming from either country. Obviously, this is not something that is going to be sustainable. It's not something that's going to be even desirable for anybody, right? Ultimately, people want their fucking cheap gadgets, their cheap Chinese made shit. I know. We talked about it in the last one. You don't fucking need it. Ultimately, we could build things domestically. I mean, shit, fucking cheap little Chinese toys. I have a fucking million of them. With my kids, running around the house right now. Yeah, I really don't need all that shit. I'd rather fucking spend some money on something that's nice, American made, quality built. Get them some fucking Tonka trucks, right? They'll be able to pass those motherfuckers down to their kids when they're ready to fucking when they start their families and stuff. So ultimately, like I say, it's, in my opinion, we really need more manufacturing here in America. We really need more pride in American goods, and we really need to kind of cut the cord on all of that cheap Chinese made slave labor bullshit, right? Um, but there's also things that we can't necessarily source out here just yet. Things like superconductors, a lot of these minerals. Of course, China is buying up mineral rights all over the world, and that's another part of it too. Is that China's is it's they're trying to gather up a lot of United States dollars, but what they're doing with those United States dollars isn't necessarily buying gas like everyone else is. They're not trying to gather up USD so that way they could go ahead and buy oil based off of the petrodollar. They're gathering up United States dollars so that way they could buy United States land, right? And yeah, we really have to put a stop to that. I mean, we've had talks about this several times before. There's plenty of other countries in the world. I believe Vietnam or Laos, one of those, right around that area, says that you foreign people cannot own land. Like, you need to be a citizen of that country in order to actually own land. Hey, it looks like we might have a Liberty Swine dropping in here. How's it going, sir?
It's going pretty good, man. Maybe.
There he is, man. Well, at
Well,
least we got him. We got him here.
what's good, man?
How you doing, man? How's your week going?
It's going pretty good, dude. Fucking, technically retarded over here, so that's why no one's seen me recently. But back in the swing, dude. Through some exploration and fucking hard times, bro. But I'm here.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm assuming you was probably crashed out, right?
Man, I was standing here struggling.
Oh, okay. All right, gotcha. Well, at least we got it going, man. Good news right there. But I was basically just, like I said, I got a pretty short list for tonight. But we're still going to keep it a little bit shorter than the usual 2 hours. But I'm starting to talk off about tariffs, the trade war with China. Basically, things kind of narrowed down. China. Right. How things basically have kind of bottlenecked now into not necessarily bottleneck. That's not the right term, but basically the tariffs have kind of narrowed down as Donald Trump has put an additional, or not additional, but he's put, what is it, 90-day stay on the tariffs until but except for China. China's the
Right,
the
exactly.
only people that we're still like, nope, actually fuck off. We're still keeping I don't remember. Are we up to like 125% reciprocal at this point?
I think it's actually at 140. But China, I think, is at 125, and I believe that Xi said that they're not going to go any higher, right?
Yeah,
But absolutely trying to partition China, man. Pretty obvious, right? I mean, you see, who the real geopolitical fucking enemy is. While the left loves to scream Russias and Hatlers. I mean, it's been China for years.
right. Like, and I forgot who it was. They pointed out a pretty good fact. Yeah, the Democrats fucking back when it was the Soviet Union, they never it was, always oh, never mind about Russia. But once they fucking stopped being a communist country, now it's Russia's evil. Right?
Yeah.
Right. But back during the fucking the Stalin days and shit like that, like, they're sovereign. They're doing their own thing, man.
We've
Yeah.
always been at war with Eurasia, you know what I'm saying? But it's, I mean, they got to keep that enemy on ice. I mean, hence the reason, supposedly, he tried to join NATO. Putin,
Right.
tried to negotiate that with Bill Clinton. And
Yep.
Clinton at first, for the obvious reasons, was like, yeah, I think we can work that out. But then obviously his handlers got in his ear that night and were like, hell no, dude.
Right.
So he, told them the next day, sorry,
Right.
can't do
See, let me break it down for you.
it.
We make a lot of money off the military industrial complex. The only way that we're able to get the tax dollars from the people, they'll give it up willingly, is if they're afraid of the boogeyman out there. If there is no boogeyman out there, there's no money to be made, right? So you catching how this is going here? Pretty sure that was pretty close to the conversation that took place back then.
Right.
Yep.
And I
But
mean, we can do, I mean, on the back end, they still do trade and they even buy Russian fucking oil through third parties. I
right,
mean, they've been enriching them the entire time.
right. Yep. Uh, but anyway, so with the whole reciprocal trading, I was basically just talking about how a lot of it uh, seems a little bit like kind of a like chest puffing a little bit, not necessarily chest puffing, but more just a pissing contest, right? Pissing contest. That'd probably be the better explanation of it, because like I said, ultimately 125% tariffs or 140% tariffs in either direction is completely it's unrealistic, right? Ultimately, in terms of our dependence on Chinese fucking garbage, fucking cheap little knockoff fucking garbage toys and shit like that that's designed to last for one fucking year and then end up in a landfill later. Like, we really don't need that. Like, I would rather, for my kids, I'd rather fucking spend a little bit of extra money and get them some fucking badass, actual metal Tonka trucks and shit like that made fucking here or something that they're able to pass down to their fucking kids, or just basically something that's quality made here in America. At the same time, it's also bringing back jobs to America, which is ultimately, I think, Donald Trump's goal. I don't think he's trying to make money necessarily off of China. I think he's really trying to tell China to go fuck themselves, basically.
Yeah, he's trying to fold the paper dragon, man. I mean, it's gambling, right? It's who folds first. And we know that we can hold out a hell of a lot longer than we can. They're not even our number one trade partner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of people tend to think that they are, but that's like a smack in the face to a lot of people when you're like, that's not even our number one, man. And like you said, the point is to enrich America, start a reindustrialization, and to cut off that tie that, again, of course, was the ramification of Democrat policies as far as NAFTA. You know what I mean? And of course, they can say the old hindsight, or we didn't know it was gonna. This exactly, I mean, what the plan was from jump. I mean, that's
Right.
you raise the the income of the companies by saving money from fucking slave labor.
It's
You know,
almost like the plan all along was like to make America great again. I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm abstracting from it.
yeah. But I mean, we have the clips, right? I mean, even Clinton. I believe America can be great again, but he, like communists do, did the exact opposite of. And sometimes you don't feel that pinch for a while, and cheap goods start rolling in, and that's always great at first until like the single time probably I've ever agreed with Michael Moore, the cheap, the price of cheap is the gutting of the fucking heartland and the industrial base of America.
Right. Absolutely. But let's go ahead and check out this this little clip here from the old Obama back in 2015. So Apple Lamps posted Obama in 2015. If we don't write the rules, China will, and will event China will yada yada yada, and eventually we'll lose jobs in the U.S. Trump in 2015 hits China with 125% tariffs to stop the bleeding. In the media back then, strategic genius. Now Donald Trump is dangerous. Let's go ahead and
Right.
listen to the
The
Obama in
argument
his
is
own
number
words.
one. The argument is number one, that's the biggest market in the world. Number two is those countries are already selling to us. I keep on pointing out there are a lot of Japanese cars here in the United States, almost no U.S. cars in Tokyo. Number three is that if we don't write the rules, China will write the rules out in that region. We will be shut out. American businesses, American agriculture, that will mean a loss of U.S. jobs. The argument is number.
All right.
It's not
really is-
even it's not even as much hypocrisy, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, without hypocrisy, they wouldn't have a platform basically. But it's the fact that they know, but yet they're either bold faced lying or they're moronic or a combination of the two, and they think you're dumb. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they've known the whole time. All the policies that we voted for and Trump is trying to fucking roll out is exactly the things that they pushed before. I mean,
right.
obviously,
It's just a decade old Democrat platform, really.
yeah, yeah. I
But,
mean, and that's what he is, right? I mean, he's
right.
Manhattan Democrat, man.
Yep. And it really is. It's interesting just to see the fundamental switch that took place within the Democrat Party. And I don't know if it's anything that's 100% just because Donald Trump bad, all right? Trump derangement syndrome, anything like that. But I mean, there's people on the Democrat side that aren't just that dumb, that they're just completely brain rot. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of these people, there has to be something behind the scenes that's causing this sudden absolute 180 shift. And I don't think it's just Trump derangement syndrome,
No, I mean it's also years of capitulating to the absolute extreme of their party, and that's why you have so many now that run around with Palestinian flags and support Hamas and down with America and shit. The country that gave them the ability to say that, to spew that fucking lunacy. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep. Exactly, man. It's really is just the I don't even know what to call it. Just the lunacy of it,
Yeah. I mean, to kind of off subject, but on with what I was just saying. Like just today, I had this fool who kept posting in my shit, "Free Palestine's," you know what I'm saying, and clown shit, and so I tried to engage, and then he just goes on with, "Well, I happen to think genocide, whoop de woos," and and I'm like, "Hey, look, I don't give two fucks about either side, buddy. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think I'm playing in." But at the same time, the Muslims would do the same to the Israelis and you if given the fucking opportunity. And thousands of years of history are proof positive. You know what I
Right.
mean? But yet you're easily led to support people that would murder you, for no reason whatsoever than your personal ideology. And you're trying to tell me, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh
I
no,
get
yeah, I mean, they're just complete, like you said, brain rot. I mean,
right.
there's almost
Like,
no other way to put it.
I guarantee you, if you were to ever actually free Palestine,
Mass psychosis.
we would be we would be at war with them within the decade. Like
Yeah.
if you ever just got rid of the fucking Israelites, Israel isn't a state no more. It's now Palestine. We would be at war with the Middle East almost immediately. Like that's
Yeah.
ultimately, I mean, Israel's just kind of our fucking just go fight those guys. Go fight those guys. Go fight those guys. Of course, it's very expensive on the United States fucking taxpayer. That's for sure. But ultimately, I mean, that's an entire region of the world that wants fucking everything having to do with us dead at any cost.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, ultimately, that's really what it would finally end up being if you ever actually did freeze Palestine's.
You're going off a building.
Right. Right. Would you like to learn to fly?
But yeah, I mean, I think the tariffs should stay on, dude. I think that they should stay on for, I mean, like I said, the 90 days, if you're going to negotiate, let's get down, right? You don't retaliate, it's going to pay off, right? Something to that fucking effect. But China's saying they'll fight to the end, but I really don't think that they have the abilities. You know what I mean? Their debt, to
Right.
GDP is, pretty fucking high. And obviously we're absolutely, on paper bankrupt, 36 trillion in debt, but still the largest economy on the planet.
Yeah, speaking of the largest economy in the planet, so along with these tariffs came a lot of market volatility and uncertainty, right? That is just kind of the thing that goes with global economics and trade wars and stuff like that on this scale. We don't necessarily know. I mean, you can plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather, Miss Jackson. That's really the way that it kind of goes with economics. So that's really kind of what's taking place within the market right now, as we saw the market, and then the next day they went right back to the top. So I mean,
And if you see now, that's a crime as well. Now they're, the Dems are trying to launch an investigation. Basically, Trump was insider trading with the entire fucking country. You
right.
know what I'm saying?
And
Like,
of all people,
yeah,
to fucking
yeah.
point it out, old shifty eyes over here.
Fucking watermelon head, pencil neck, fucking
Right.
straight lizard, bro.
Right. So now all of a sudden, the Democrats, who, mind you, when Nancy Pelosi was asked if they should ban insider trading for Congress, she immediately said, no. I don't think that has anything, or no. What was it? If they should ban family members of congressmen from being able to trade on the stocks and stuff that they're regulating at that moment, she immediately, nope, absolutely not. Like, no, I can't. That's completely un-American, unconstitutional, right? But the Democrats all of a sudden are completely changing their tune whenever anything takes place with Donald Trump in it. Because, of course, Donald Trump, when this market volatility was taking place, said, it's a great time to buy, which anybody who watches any sort of markets or anybody that has any sort of rudimentary understanding of how you make money in the markets, you buy the dip, right?
With what?
Right. Right. So now the Democrats all of a sudden they're real concerned about insider trading. Let's go ahead and listen to old Shifty Eyes. I guess state his opinion.
How concerned are you with this market fluctuation? Are you concerned that there could be members of the White House that are benefiting?
Absolutely. I'm writing to the White House to demand who knew in advance that the president was going to once again flip-flop on tariffs, and are people cashing in? There is just all too much opportunity for people in the White House and the administration to be insider trading, and you can't put it past them for a minute. So we're going to try to find out.
There's a good chance they'll just ignore you, though, right? Should there be some other independent investigation into this?
Well, I think Congress should do an investigation into this, but we're going to demand answers from the administration.
You don't have control,
I think you're right. They're
Bob.
likely to Stonewall, particularly because they've been engaged in corrupt insider trading. But they won't be able to hide it for good. I mean, we know who's in the administration. We can look at eventually what people are buying and selling. This will come out. But an administration that has their own meme coins and is already engaged in self-interested dealing when Elon is doging agencies that are doing oversight of his own businesses, in that kind of corrupt climate, you have to assume the worst. And we're going to try to find out.
See, you know what? I agree. We should really open up that fucking can of worms, right? Dude, we should start investigating into the trades and stuff that
not just
people
that.
within
We
government
should get down with all of it, dude.
Right.
Tit for
That's
tat.
what I'm
Like
saying.
this guy right here for real estate crimes,
Yep.
bro. That guy doesn't even live in California. Never has. You know what I'm saying? He lives in like fucking Baltimore or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But yet he's a fucking senator from California. Like,
Do straight up fucking Nayib Bukele style. Just fucking. I'm calling on the Department of Justice to investigate everyone.
Right.
Literally everyone within government. So, yeah. I mean, yeah. Let's do that. That sounds great to me. I'm totally on board with that. Like, if you guys want to start doing blanket investigations for insider trading within DC, I'm on board with it. I'll fucking write to my congressman today. Like,
Right.
let's get that ball a rolling. It sounds good to me,
man.
right? But yeah,
Don't think the big.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, we're not going to see that happen, and it really is. It's just if he had any inclination that this would actually happen, he wouldn't say anything because he knows that his ass is fucking guilty of multiple fucking things. All the Democrats know that they're guilty of insider trading, at least on some level. It's absolutely ridiculous. Of course, Doge is over there investigating all the fraud taking place. So yeah, these people they don't want any sort of investigations being opened into anything. It's all
Hell
just
no.
it's all just look good for the camera. Just fucking smile and waves. Try and fucking act like try and pretend to take the high road.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely fucking ridiculous though.
Like
But
you said, though, of all people, man, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And they have nothing. That's why he's just standing there, smug. We're gonna find out. We want to find out. You know
right,
what I
we're
mean?
we're
And
gonna find
their
out.
absolute desperation. It's just constant fucking spitballs. Is this something bad? Is this bad enough? Will this rally you? Will this make people mad? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's complete desperation move. All of them are scrambling, trying to be the one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Right.
mean, the likes of fucking Crockett and AOC, all of them. AOC and Bernie's running around the country right now on the Stop the Oligarchy tour. I mean, it's just complete fucking scrambling. And then Bernie,
Right.
like, if you
Sponsored
go
by
on to May,
Pfizer.
yeah, you go on to May's Moore's page right now on X, bro, and you scroll, and there's a video where he has just, it's like 30, 40 seconds of Bernie Sanders for like 35 years. The oligarchy, you know what I mean? Just repeating oligarchy for decades, bro.
Right. Right. I do not get donations from Big Pharma. Each one of their employees, they give me individual donations of small amounts. Yeah, that's not
Right.
suspicious. Right. Everybody just fucking loves you there for some reason, right?
You're like, dude, you and Liz Warren are like the third and fourth highest recipients. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Fuck
Not
are
to
you even
mention
saying?
not to mention all of your scams that have been exposed already through things like Act Blue, where if someone makes a donation one time, you guys will make fucking 50,000 other donations within their name. Don't know where the fuck that money came from. These people actually didn't make those. Were you donating $3,000 once a month for the past 3 years? Like, no. Well,
It's like,
apparently
dude,
on
I make
paperwork, yeah.
2,500 a month, bro.
Right, right. I gave them I fucking bought a $20 fucking hat one time. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
Right.
right. Yep. So it absolutely fucking ridiculous, man. But either way, man, trade war is heating up, making America great again. Fuck China. I don't know. What do you
Yep.
think?
Fuck libertarians, man. Fuck
Right,
Democrats, bro.
right. Free trade never existed, man.
Right. Yeah.
Right,
And we know with them, it's disenfranchised leftists that disregard human nature at every fucking aspect of their fucking whole paradigm, bro. You know what I
right.
mean? But we believe in this like utopia, and like we believe if we made it like that, everyone's gonna buy into it, bro. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You'll just pay for your own private securities, and everyone will just like abide, man.
Right. Like, where's this gonna happen, man?
Right.
Absolute freedom. You can't have any sort of laws, man. But these other nations, they're
Free
gonna they're
trade
gonna have
means open borders, bro.
right,
Free trade means there's no borders, man. You're
right,
not a libertarian.
right. Are you even liberty, bro?
Right.
Right. Yeah, fucking absolutely insufferable ideologues, man. But
Yeah. I mean, I
yeah.
feel the same sometimes, even with names. I mean, I know like Thomas Massey, dude,
Mhm.
obviously, 30, 40, 100 times smarter than I could ever possibly think of being, right? Double major at MIT, bro. I mean, obviously intellect. But sometimes the way he votes, even though I understand the whole principle gig,
Right.
like, bro, you're fucking over, your own party, your movement, whatever. And
Right.
if you want to, stand by your principles and you're a principled libertarian, get out of the fucking Republican Party, son. You know what I mean?
Right.
Really.
Well,
And I
and it
know
won't
that's
get
fucked
elected
up.
again though.
Right, but I know it's fucked up. You don't want principled people, to leave or, to not be involved in governance. I mean,
Mhm.
that's obvious who you're looking for, but at times it's like we're counting on you right now. Like we
Right.
need you, son.
Right. Like it's kind of a all hands on deck thing right now, you know?
Right.
Right.
I
Yep.
mean,
If I get
sometimes, don't get me wrong. There's times he votes against Trump, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm with you,
mhm.
But for like budgets and shit like that, it's already blown out, son. You
Right.
know what I mean? What is your no vote going to do besides cut the fucking margin?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. Fucking yeah. Ultimately, like I said, in terms of because that's anybody that goes back in the archives here, which I doubt anybody would, because we ain't that fucking special. But you'd see that we've argued quite a bit for to getting rid of the omnibuses, to getting rid of the continuing resolutions, to get rid of all of this basically just bulk fucking bills that just funds the government for the next year, that really nobody's ever going to actually read what it is. It's pretty much just a slush fund for the fucking government, but to the tune of trillions of dollars. But at the same time, I would still like to see them get to work on single subject spending bills. I mean, if anything, just to get that
Absolutely.
sort of a codified thing, so that way, just at least going forward, we could start working
But they
in
can't
that sort of
codify
fashion.
anything. I mean,
Right.
you think about it, everything Trump's tried to do so far, they have not codified into law. Not a single one of his executive orders, nothing, bro. Like they're do nothing. You know what I mean? And then when
Right.
they're fucking trying to, come
They're
up with,
fucking deers in the headlights, man.
yeah, they're trying to fucking, come up with the way to pass the SAVE Act and so on and so forth, right? Last week, you got the chicks in the fucking in the party, like, give us special privileges and times off because we got kids. You know
Right.
what I mean? You work 10 days a month, bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep. Yeah, absolutely, fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot where I was going. But yeah, trade wars. Oh yeah, yeah. The fucking the Republicans right now, dude. Ultimately, like their vibe, to steal from the youngies. The vibe I'm picking up off of the Republican Party in Congress right now is a deer in the headlights. They're like nobody fucking like. Wait, what are we doing? Wait, what are we doing?
I think it's still like
Wait, what?
the hangover. Like they're still partying. Like, we did it. We won, dude. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like, and you see Trump, that fool's working.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, he's been putting down, dude. You can't deny that shit, regardless if you like him or not. He's been
Hmm.
lightning speed, and then the rest of the party's fucking arguing over, again, dumb shit, time off. Like, you're not going to let me put in my rider in the Billses. I'm not voting. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
fuck, man.
Yep.
They can never get it together, and now you got senators, like, supposedly behind the scenes, that are like arguing against passing fucking, the budgets, and like, man.
What do you think is the happy medium in terms of trying to root out the bad fucking Republicans, while at the same time not just making the Republican Party look all around bad just by like fuck this guy, fuck this guy, fuck that guy, fuck this guy, like what do you think is should we go like next season, you're up next season, like we're fucking getting you out of here, like should we
Yeah,
take them down like
yeah,
one by
we
one or
yeah, we really need 100 fucking Scott Presslers is what we need. You know
right?
what I'm saying? I mean, we need a solid ground game and not just focus in certain states. Like this previous round, like you had, again, Scott Pressler, like, in the Midwest, basically, like towards the East Coast. And then out west over here, you had TPUSA. And then what else did you hear? Because I didn't. I don't know shit about it. And obviously, we try to pay pretty good attention to, political news and stuff. And,
The Liberty Bowl, they were out there killing it, man. I heard about those guys, bro. Informing the public, man, talking all that shit.
but you need people, talking. You need
Right.
people on the street. You need people fucking, even door to door type, shit, events. I mean, I know it sucks speaking in public, but somebody's got to be able to rise to the fucking occasion. And it,
Right.
again, you hate to get too long winded with the shit, but it definitely harkens back to the old, you know, we were left a machine that not many of us know how to fucking maintain. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Do you
that
think
that's
oh good?
I mean, to me, that's just proof positive. Like, if you can't get your shit together when you actually have power, like, you're the fucking problem, obviously.
Right. Do you think that a more effective, well, which way do you think would be the more effective way that we should go about? I guess it really does depend on where you're trying to rally at, but do you think it'd be better to go on like a more like soapboxes and fucking events and all that type of stuff, kind of like how Turning Point USA does, or do you think it'd be more of like I guess more on like a individualized type thing, like starting fucking groups here, starting fucking I don't know, small clubs and get-togethers and things like that within your community and stuff like that. Which do you think is the more effective way to kind of change culture into the direction that we're trying to bring it to?
I mean, if you're trying to change culture, obviously you're working with the long game. So, community work obviously is going to go the farthest as far as, it's going to take a while to actually, get traction and then to make actual change, that's the long game. But, if you're talking immediate, like midterms,
Right.
it's events,
Fucking
it's
shine off
soapboxes,
that
it's going to
soapbox, bro.
schools. Yeah,
Get your fucking shine box.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, like it really does kind of depend on the region, the season, what's taking place. But yeah, ultimately, I mean, our culture really is it's sick here in America. Of course, at the same time, obviously, everybody's gonna say obviously we're the ones that are the right people. We're correct. Those guys are wrong. So I mean, everybody can see that. But ultimately, just with the I so the what I'm dubbing this age right now is the age of fucking propaganda. Like we don't know the truth. Nobody actually does. Like, don't look to this show and think that you're going to get any answers. Don't look to fucking the Tim Pools, the Crowders, fucking the Vince because he took over for Bongino now. Don't look to anybody and think you're going to get answers. All you're going to really get is several different eyes and ears and minds on the same subject. But the truth, fuck, nobody knows anymore. I don't think anybody knows what the fucking
Well, that's
truth about
because
anything is.
Bongino's gone, man.
Right.
Fucking
That dude was the fucking,
the
that dude was
truth
the
about
lighthouse,
America.
bro. Right. Dude, he really was the fucking truth about America, man. I got more information from that. Making sure I listen to that dude's show every day, I was more informed than anybody else listening to like fucking 5 other shows a day,
Like he lets you know on a regular basis, you're months ahead of the game, man.
Right.
But
You're not wasting your time here.
absolutely. But it's not even necessarily answers. I mean, to me, it's just discussion. I mean, just talking.
Right. Right. Well, so speaking of discussion, man, apparently Tim Pool has been in a little bit of getting some backlash as of late. Um, so of course there's a part of it that has to do with the fact that he went to a basically kind of closed door meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu along with several other uh, you know influencers, right? And that's the key word here is influencers, because not necessarily just journalists, not necessarily they're doing to do journalism. The reason that they called them these people here is because they're influencers, right? They influence culture, and so that's a lot of this. Again, like I said, that's one side of the argument. The other side is that he got called down to do a sit down briefing or whatever with Netanyahu and Trump and all them, and fuck, would you not go?
Right.
That's the other half of the argument, right? And then there's also the whole thing with fuck, what is it? Carmelo Anthony,
Oh,
and
Trayvon.
right. So yeah, Tim Pool's, of course, we all like to like self defense. Yes, stand your ground states and shit. We live in a stand your ground state, but ultimately, based off of the circumstances in this particular situation, I don't think that necessarily applies, right? Based off of, escalation, equal opposing forces, things like that. The zoning, right? Of course, basically, I think the escalation was the biggest part of it. But ultimately, Tim Pool is trying to give what I would call bad legal advice, right? Don't listen to Tim Pool on terms of self-defense and what it's actually considered self-defense. You'll probably go to fucking prison for the rest
He
of your
says
life.
that though. He always, I'm not a lawyer though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I mean,
But I
he
mean,
lets you know.
yeah. But I mean, in terms of this, so the one part that I will have to say that I do agree with him on is there's a good chance that he's going to get, not necessarily, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to turn out based off the fact that they gave him first degree murder, which is basically planned, intended. You went there looking for a fucking fight to go murder somebody, and you got what you were looking for, right? Whereas opposed to like second, third degree, so on, that's based off of more circumstantial things, like, oh, you got pushed around, and like you escalated to a point where you didn't need to, things like that. And so basically, based off of charging him with first degree murder, it's going to be really hard to prove that, right? Especially seeing as, apparently they didn't necessarily know each other. They went to opposing schools. Of course, like I said, based off of the circumstances, the fact that, he went to the other schools, fucking, Ramada thing that they're all staying under. I mean, obviously that's going to be an escalation, right? I wouldn't expect to be able to just be carrying my pistol or to carry a knife or something like that and go walk over to one of these fucking, Elon Musk fucking, fuck Trump, rallies and shit like that, and just go, with my a MAGA shirt and a MAGA hat or something like that. And then if somebody starts fucking pushing me around or talking shit to me, I fucking stab them. I'm going to get charged with murder. Like, that's the way that it is, same thing. You can't go into a fucking bar and, if somebody starts getting rowdy, just fucking shoot them. Like, that's not the way that it works. Right. Of course, don't listen to legal advice from us either. Ultimately, try not to fucking get into those situations. That's the best fucking advice you could give anybody. Try to avoid those types of situations if at all costs, but ultimately in this particular case, I believe that the circumstances don't necessarily fit the case for self-defense in that particular situation.
I think that I don't know about the first degree, right? Premeditation, okay, but I think that obvious thing what the state does, they come at you, fucking with their biggest one, and then make you plead down. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in other words, we're going to get a conviction.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, they got like a 96% rate, so I mean, you never know, just because of the fact, the way that, like you said earlier, the way the culture is, it could set off, Kenosha part 2 or whatever.
Right.
But, at the same time, dude went somewhere where he wasn't supposed to be. He was told or asked whatever side of the story to leave. You know what I mean? Basically, he was like, I'm not leaving. And so, put your, if something to the effect, if you punch me, see what happens. And then he like touched him or whatever, and then, or no, he said touch me and see what happens, and then he
Right.
touched him, and then he said punch me and see what happens, and then he grabbed him to remove him, and he just pulled out and stuck him in the chest, man. And
Right.
you hear some of the other side saying, well, the fact that he only stabbed him once, shows that he wasn't trying to kill. Like, he only takes once. It was in the heart, man.
Right.
I mean,
I only shot him in the leg, man. Like, I didn't know he was gonna fucking bleed out from the femoral artery. I didn't know.
yeah. And of course, people like are already popping off with if you believe he did it, it's racisms.
Right.
And
Of
to me,
course.
it has nothing to do with it, regardless of the color. Again, you went somewhere you weren't supposed to be. You were asked to leave. Then the dude purposely escalated it, without even the stabbing, just saying fucking like punch me, like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? I mean, you're purposely escalating the situation, and then they're saying like he was scared that he was outnumbered. Like, if you were scared, why wouldn't you get the fuck out of there when they tell you to get the fuck out of there, dude? Well, I
Right.
mean, instead, it's what you're going to try to act tough because you got a knife in your bag. You know what I mean? And that's what see what happens was. Again, it was like a taunt and an escalation at the same time. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? So, regardless of, colors or diversities, I mean, it's to me, it's some sort of guilt there.
Right.
Whether, they get him on, again, get him to plead down to second degree or whatever.
Yep. Like I said, given the same circumstances, any one of us would be facing murder charges right now. It's
Yeah.
yeah. Like I said, it's that's the escalation. I don't know if you guys watch it, but I fucking love watching the Active Self Protection channel. That dude's got really good analysis on self defense, on what's not self defense. He just basically goes through a lot of these like police shootings, gang violence, stuff like that. What have you, self defense shootings and stuff like that. And one of the things he always likes to point out is sane, sober, moral, prudent. Right. And yeah, he was not being those. So ultimately, I'm pretty sure he's probably going to end up going down for it. But let me see if I can pull up the Tim Pool expert analysis real quick. Yeah, fucking Tim Pool self-defense. It's like one of the first things that pops up.
Because everyone's fucking melting down over
All
it.
right.
You know, I mean, you even got
So
what the fuck is it? The liberal channel. You know, they make one like Tim Pool's done now. You know what I mean? Like that was the thumbnail on the juice.
right,
Fuck.
right. Yeah, it's like these people don't realize that that's kind of the thing with our side. Like we're not like a one and done type thing. You know, like you made a bad call once. I'm still going to listen to your show. I'm just going to say that you're a fucking moron right here, and you're completely wrong in this particular
Right.
situation. You know, that's rather. I'm not going to try and fucking cancel you and like, oh, I'm never speaking to this person again. Absolutely cannot believe this. Right. But yeah, ultimately in this particular case, I do believe that Tim is incorrect here. But let's go ahead and check this out from Ian Miles Chong. Tim Pool has completely lost the plot. He's passionately defending the unjust slaying of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, calls it self-defense, and acts as if Carmelo Anthony was justified in taking his life. Unfollowed. See, it's the whole unfollowed thing. Like I said,
Right.
I
On,
completely disagree with them. The dude's, like I said, not correct. You know, he's apparently ignorant on some facts in terms of stand your ground and what that actually means, right? It doesn't mean that, oh, somebody pushed me, I get to fucking kill them. You know, that's not necessarily what it means. There has to be equal opposing forces, right? Say if, you know, you were to pull out a fucking can of pepper spray and spray you in the eyes, yeah, he's blinded you. If you have a gun on you, like you're at risk of, you know, him taking your gun now. So technically you'd be able to, but in terms of, no, like that's not grounds to go ahead and use deadly force at that point. But let's go ahead and check out Tim Pool's expert analysis.
One where he says, what is it? Nothing matters but this. He was at a school event at the wrong team's tent with a knife. He clearly chose murder than to walk away, cut and dry here. Nope, wrong. Imagine you are invited to a party at someone else's house and you are legally carrying a firearm. And then a fight breaks out and you, or like an altercation breaks out between you and some guy and, you know, there's drinking involved or whatever. I'm not trying to make a 1-for-1 scenario. I'm trying to create a potential scenario separate from this one with similarities. You go to a party. No, yeah, let's say you go to a party. And some guy starts saying stuff like, yo, man, get out of here. And you're like, I can do what I want. I was invited to the party. Verbal altercation escalates. And then the dude, you're sitting there and you pull your sweater back and you've got a gun. And you put your hand up and say, don't come close to me, bro. I'm warning you right now. Do not come close. Do not take another step. Then the guy grabs your arm and makes a move. So you draw your weapon and you use it. Okay, make the argument. You have no right to defend yourself when you're being attacked by a guy. Make the argument. By all means, go ahead and do so. I ain't going to do it. I don't know the circumstances. You can argue that you're in a place you're not supposed to be. You can argue it's that guy's house, and it doesn't matter. A guy can invite you into your neighbor could be like, come on over, brother. And then if he gets physical with you, you can defend yourself. And then what? The police are going to be like, well, you were in his house. And it's like, yeah, you invited me in. It's like, the door was open and.
Yeah, that's bad advice, guys. Again, like I said, that's don't listen to Tim Pool. You will go to fucking prison for the rest of your life if you do that, right? So, say for example, in a bar, right, they have no firearms allowed posted signs, and they're allowed to do that, right? Same thing with schools. They have signs that say no weapons allowed, and they're allowed to fucking do that for obvious fucking reasons. So technically, that doesn't necessarily stack up in this case. In terms of self-defense, there's a good possibility that you could still get away for the most part with self-defense, but you're still going to get charged for just in general having a firearm at that particular location or a knife or what have you. Still a misconduct involving weapons at bare minimum.
I mean, to me, it's just dude just giving his opinion basically. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just,
Yep.
That's how I take it.
Yep. But I mean, like I said, and yeah, I actually just went through a firearms training class to get my CCW. So I mean, it's like I said, they covered that pretty well. And like I said, Arizona is in a technical sense a stand your ground state. we don't technically have a law that says stand your ground, but we have castle doctrine. Our castle doctrine is also expanded to, say your vehicle, basically just, your person for the most part. So, yeah, you can defend yourself out here, just not necessarily at a fucking school, like football game and based off of somebody pushing you because you were in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, man. If you just run around fucking stabbing cats for no apparent reason, and then, apparently he even asked the cop, "Can this be considered self-defense?"
Right.
So I mean, he knew in his own mind at that point, like, I'm trying to
Jeez.
find something to run with.
Right.
So, but obviously it's just going to be made into a racial thing as always.
Mhm.
Anytime there's a white person involved, of course it's got to be called a racial fucking aspect, and you know it's just
and,
it's more suppressions is.
and
I mean,
anytime anytime the shoe's on the other foot and the roles are reversed, then it's called a hate crime, and then they go out there and start flipping over cars and burning down buildings and flinging their own feces and shit. So expect some interesting news events to take place after the ruling, or after the jury decision on this case. So that's going to be an interesting one.
I'm sure it'll be a minute, man. And
Right.
apparently he's already raised like $500,000 on his, give, send, go.
It's just for laughs. Let's go ahead and run through just a couple of these other ones. Let's see. Tim Pool thinks Carmelo Anthony case was self-defense. I was curious as to what some self-defense lawyers would think about this, and South actually broke it down. That's way too long. We ain't listening to this little fucking 40-minute video. Fuck that. See, if you just ask them to leave, they'll leave. According to Tim Pool, this man can stab the police officer the moment they touch him.
Why are you going to make this harder than what it is? It's literally as simple as you just leaving, and then we'll all be on our ways. But you can't stay
We
here.
don't need to watch any of the extra videos. Let's see. Tim Pool calls killing of Austin Metcalf self-defense as he sides with Karmelo Anthony, who stabbed Metcalf in the heart after being told to get out of the wrong high school's tent at a track meet. Right. Fuck Karmelo Anthony. He's a murderer. Fuck Give, Send, Go. They've raised $350,000 for a murder. It's not like that's the first time they've done that. Fuck Tim Pool for defending him. This wasn't self-defense. This was fucking murder. Right. And I agree. Yeah, I agree there. Fucking Tim Pool when a baby bumps into him at Costco. This is self-defense. Standing my ground. Right. Again, just like I said, Tim Pool's a smart dude. He does have some very good takes on a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. This just isn't one of them, and obviously the internet is letting him know.
It's all because of the meeting with
hilarious.
Netanyahu, man. That's why they're blowing up, because the dude says fucking shit all the time that you're like, what? You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody does,
All right, so he's got the double whammy going on him right now. He's got to, like I say, it's really kind of funny the circles that you end up falling into every now and then on the right, or we're gonna be over here like yeah, man, that's a really bad call by Tim Pool. Like, yeah, definitely don't listen to that guy. Like, fucking horrible advice. And then you're gonna have everybody like, yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, right, yeah. Fuck the Jews. Like, all right, man, all right, too far, bro. All right. And the earth is fucking flat, bro. The moon is cheese, man. I don't know how you conflated all of this, but either way, thanks for the comment.
Donut Earth, man.
Right. And some people really take that the only true knowledge is the only true wisdom is the knowledge that you know nothing. They really take that to the extreme sometimes, man. Yeah, how do you actually fucking know that the sky is actually there? Do you know? Have you been there? Like when you break it down to that ridiculous, I guess really I don't know, do I? Yeah. The internet's a fucking crazy place.
People, man. Fucking people are wild, dude.
Yeah.
It's good for you to stay away from the inner zones for sure.
Especially the TikTok.
Right. Pure AIDS is. What are you pulling up, man?
Actually,
What,
hold up, I got it
what
on
are we
my-
moving on
So
to?
the southern border, man. Did you see Donald Trump authorized military force down there along the southern border?
Yeah, in Arizona even.
Yep, from all the way from California to the fucking border of Texas. So, and I think it's what like a 6 miles on either side or something like that. Let me see.
I want to see some shit go down. You know what I mean? I mean,
All
like,
right, so
I
here we
understand
have.
that, you know.
All right, good.
I understand that, you know, having trouble with the, you know, the courts and shit, but ultimately, man, I mean, the numbers are not, I mean, not enough, and you know, even the Supreme Court at this point, like people try to act like he just got to win, and he didn't. You know what I'm saying? I
Right,
mean, they basically ruled that they all have to have due process. I mean,
right.
how long do you think that'll take? Already, people were on lists for years waiting for an immigration hearing. I mean, dude.
Yep.
So you can import them by the millions, but you can only send them home one at a time. Like, what the fuck,
In
man?
that case, I ultimately just think that bringing back stricter punishments on people that use illegal immigrant labor is going to help deter them even more. Just because of it's going to, believe it's going to help lead to them, self-deporting even more. Just because of the fact that, like, yeah, you're not going to get a hearing for about 8 more years, and you better not fucking make one goddamn red fucking cent within that entire 8 years. Like, so figure it out, but not fucking off of our fucking, not without fucking, paying taxes here and shit like that, which you can't do because, oh yeah, you're not a fucking citizen. Like,
Right.
so I mean,
Like the only
ultimately,
job you're allowed to do is pick potatoes, man.
right. And that's the thing too. I mean, in terms of a lot of this, like farming and like, oh man, ain't nobody's gonna want to farm and shit. Nobody's gonna be out there picking. Nobody's out there picking fucking potatoes and fucking, dude, do you not see that we have big fucking machines that we make these big machines that do all that shit automatically? They fucking like pluck the corn out the fucking ground, shuck it for you, and put it nice and neat into a pile for you. Like all you have to do is drive. Like, yeah,
Right.
we,
I
we
mean
don't we don't do that
that's
type
the
of shit
whole
no more.
fucking slavery built America. Like, no, it didn't. It held it back. It prevented the industrialization of the fucking South, man. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? I
right.
mean, in reality, we'd be more advanced by this point if we wouldn't have had slavery.
Yep. And then you fucking end slavery and well, industrialization. Let's fucking go. Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
you know, don't get me wrong, right? Slavery's wrong, what have you, right?
mhm.
Cheap labor fucking sucks. I mean, so on and so on. But the times that it was used, you know, quote unquote constructively would have been like the railroad and shit. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
mean, picking cotton, no, it should have already been moved on to fucking machinery and automation and so on.
Right. Shit, I live fucking right down the street from a fucking cotton field. I ain't never seen one person walking in that motherfucker, except for the guys that walk by and fucking make sure the irrigation lines are all fucking connected. Like, but yeah,
Right.
people don't
Hell
fucking
no,
do
you can
that
walk
shit no
around in that
more.
around here, man. Motherfucking snakes in there, bro.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. You definitely don't want to. It really was fucking some dangerous shit to be fucking working like that back in the day, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking yeah, just big old fucking bales of fucking cotton wound tight as fuck. Like I don't see no fucking black hands doing none of that shit.
We done picking cotton.
Right.
Fucking Did you see that one, dude? Old Crockett trying to
Yeah.
make the excuse of the immigrants, dude, because we're done picking cotton, right? There's no
Right.
one in here that'll work on a farm.
Right.
Raise your hand if you were ready to go work on a farm, dude.
Like working on a farm, you mean like what? Like fucking changing the blades on the machines or something like that? Like that's what working on the farm is, like
I mean, you got to think like cattle farming and pig
mhm.
farming, you know, shit like that would be
Right,
worse.
right.
You know, that'd be the worst aspect at this point, you know, walking
Yep.
around in shit and fucking, you know.
Fucking need fucking wearing some waders because you're trudging through pig shit. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's That's definitely some rough work. You know, I don't know about. I wouldn't want to be doing all that. If you paid me good, if you paid me more than fucking, $5 an hour in two burritos.
I mean, there's a lot of aspects that go with it, right? I mean, in reality, like, I
Right.
mean, overhead and a lot of food items, I'm sure, are pretty low. I know, like, like for restaurants and bars and stuff, their profit margin on food's pretty slim. But farmers as well, especially depending on the crop, man. But like with beef and shit like that, I mean, you want to see people be paid, obviously, but
Mhm.
they're also going to have to perform to be, to be given that pay for the simple fact that you can't have the same amount of workers and be paying people $25 an hour. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, it's like otherwise your bacon's going to be fucking, 19, 20 bucks a pound, and everything will be fucked. So there's
Right.
got to be some kind of happy medium, because we do have a sickness here in this country where we believe that we should get, 25, $30 an hour and do the minimal fucking work. And it ends up to where, your employer's, shorthanded, when in reality, if motherfuckers just put down, I mean, you remember when you were young working at restaurants and shit, and that was always the thing. Like, we're shorthanded, and it's like, no, that dude's not doing nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I mean,
Yeah, it's because fucking Johnny's been in the bathroom for the last 3 hours. That's why.
yeah, it's because this guy's folding on the fryer, bro. He can't handle more than 6 orders, but
This
he's
guy's
going
on his
down.
fourth smoke break of the last hour.
right, right, exactly. I mean, that's what it boils down to. And I'm surely, not on the Vivate kick, because, I've worked obviously with Americans my whole damn life, and I've seen a
Right.
lot of fucking men out here breaking ass. But, I've also seen an equal amount of just absolute fucking, rerees that, think that they should get paid and be able to fucking go home with clean clothes on still.
Right. Yep. And it really is. If you're worth, fucking that amount, then you're probably gonna get paid that amount. But yeah, if you're out there just fucking dicking around and shit, then yep.
That's why if you abolish the minimum wage and
Right.
then move on to this, it would absolutely change the game, because then you get young cats that will accept that job to learn for $10 an hour, and then your older guys that are going to come in and put down, or even younger cats that work like fucking machines, like they'll get paid what they're worth. It's that would be meritocracy fucking would be wonderful, right?
Right. Shit. You'd love to see it, man. But then, of course, you already know what the argument's going to be. Racism,
Yeah,
prejudice.
right,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep. Like, why is there only white guys that work there?
Do you know how to do it, dude? You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, no, but
Right.
fuck.
So, do you know how to like design rocket engines? Like,
Right,
well, no, but I mean, like, still, you could find a black guy that does.
right. Like the ever slimy fucking Merrick Garland, dude. How they were investigating Elon for not hiring enough fucking asylum seekers. Like,
Right.
what in the fuck, dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is SpaceX, man.
Right. Fucking insane. Like, they can't like sweep up after you guys are done or something. Like, come on.
But then again, when it boils down to, it's, yeah, he wasn't hiring the fucking asylum seekers, but the HB1s, dude.
Right.
Those guys got some jobs, man. Don't
Right.
worry, we got diversity.
Fuck it. We'll bring some intellect slaves.
Right, but statistically, apparently, like, obviously, I'm not, an investigative journalist into fucking HB1s, right?
Mhm.
But word on the street is that a vast majority are not in high paid positions, or in positions that Americans couldn't do themselves. It's just Americans want monies, like I
Right.
said. I mean, again, it's not even about learning or anything. Even people will come out like, well, I got a degree. That doesn't mean you should just walk out and make six figures. Like, you still have to be in the field. You have to have some kind of fucking experience, man. You got to
Right.
show people you're reliable. Fucking, you know what I mean? So on and so on.
Like, I see you got this degree, but how do I actually know that you're an actual expert on second generational prejudice within the social fabrics with pre-indigenous cultures?
Right. I mean,
How
you
did
know,
I?
it's the same. Even like when I was chefing it up, man. You know, you get guys out of culinary school, like I'm a chef, yada yada, and then you get them on a line, dude, and they fold once they get a stack, and but they could make some great dishes if they had 20, 30 minutes per dish to put down. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's and not all of them, of course, but that's what you saw a vast majority of the time.
Yep. I think a lot of just what's wrong is our culture, our society at large. Not even necessarily economics, things like that. I mean, ultimately, as the cycle goes, fucking good times breed weak men breed hard times breed strong, yada yada yada. Yeah, I think America's just got stuck in that good times mode for a lot longer than is natural. Almost
Yeah,
to a point where it's could be considered like hedonistic, and I think that's
yeah. I've
basically
said it a whole lot of times on here. American opulence, man.
right.
You know what I mean? Primp
Yep.
and fucking proper. Like, you cats out here ironing their fucking pants. Like,
Yeah.
bro, you know what I mean? You never even had a job, son. What the fuck are you like
Right. Why
trying to look good for?
the fuck, man? Why do you shape your eyebrows, bro?
Right.
The hell is even that, man? Right. So they can, yeah. And I think that's ultimately what's gone wrong, and I think it's going to take a just shock treatment. But I think ultimately, I think the younger generation is primed to look up to strong men. I think the younger generation is primed. Like, I don't want to watch a fucking grown man in a fucking crop top and fucking skinny jeans. Like, I don't, out there
Mhm.
performing on. I don't want to watch that. Like, I think that's what this next generation alpha is coming up to be. At least according to the statistics, the numbers. What was it? Gen Z's fucking voting record in this last election. I think the young men of this next generation, they're like I say, they're primed and ready to actually look up to what America could have been or could be.
Yeah, and see what it was. I mean,
Hmm.
it's hard to not see all the retro shit. Everyone fucking talks about stuff all over the inner zones. I mean, there's entire pages dedicated to fucking the '90s and early 2000s, and I mean, it was a totally different culture for real, and that's what the whole American opulence really. I mean, the
Right.
'90s were the zenith, like it said in the fucking Matrix. Obviously, I mean, culturally for sure.
Yep. Yep. I think just that overextended hedonistic time frame has basically just built some very very weak men. And ultimately, those are the people that end up rising to the fucking top of society. The weak fucking people that don't have self control. Those are the people that end up making it into fucking the levers of power and whatnot. Until one Donald J. Trump came along. This dude fucking built societies on his own, built skyscrapers, and yep, finally somebody stepped up to the plate that's actually got some sort of merit behind them. Um,
Yeah, and they're like, he bankrupt all his businesses. Like, dude, 1% of the business ventures that he's got himself into have fucking filed for bankruptcy, and he never personally has. Dude's done, one of the most successful Americans, at least of our fucking time. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And like again, coupled with Elon, probably the most successful person on the planet in reality, and
right.
they just fucking hate, bro. And that's one of the things I think that sets them off, and that's why the oligarchy thing keeps fucking ringing out because they want to believe that. I mean,
Hmm.
it's the old fucking the credo of fucking envy, right? I mean, it's for real socialism tenets there.
Right. Yep. It's just jealousy. It's
Yep, you's got
haters.
more than me. Yep.
Right. Like, I bet you didn't even get picked on in school. Bet you never even got an atomic wedgie, did you?
Yeah, but the shit these cats run around saying at this point. I mean, you seen like they passed the Save Act, right? In fucking Congress, and of course, the usual suspects. Like a Swalwell. Like this is
Yeah.
literally going to make it impossible for married women, to vote. Impossible. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like, are you shitting me, bro?
Definitely
Like,
not hyperboles.
Right. And beyond that, married women are statistically vote Republican. So I
Right.
mean, what like I mean, I guess you could say Republicans could be definitely thought of that way, but no one would purposely fuck up their own constituency. Like, you know what I'm saying? You guys voted for me, now you're not allowed to vote no more. Like, this is
Right.
absolutely ridiculous. You have to have an ID to have, to get anything. And dude, the real ID law kicks in what, like a month and a half? Like you have to have a real ID to to travel to get a domestic flight, anything, you know?
That's crazy.
Right. And I mean, absolute racism, dude. Right. That's the racism of lowered expectations. Married women and minorities aren't capable of or can't afford a fucking ID. And the most expensive ID you can get is a passport. It's like $130, and the midterms aren't for what, almost 2 years, and you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like the presidential elections almost four. Like, bro, you got plenty of time to get you up $130, and if you can't come up with $130, you shouldn't be allowed to fucking vote anyway. You know what I mean? You're a complete you're a fucking life loser, bro. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like your vote shouldn't count. Because if you can't come up with $130, obviously you're a dependent, and that should be one of the stipulations even. If you collect some type of fucking state aid, you're not allowed to vote, man. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Fuck off, dude.
Yep. Shit, I don't let my kids vote in my house. They're my fucking dependents. Fucking if you're a
Right.
dependent of the government, I don't think you should decide what the government does.
Yeah, you're one of the examples that the forefathers used to not have a democracy. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because they didn't want people fucking the ability to be able to vote themselves money.
Yep. But yeah, man. So what do you think's gonna be taking place over this next year, man?
I mean, ludicrous shit. Of course, the old hyperbole is not going to calm down. It's definitely going to ramp up as we get into where people are going to start running for their elections, their re-elections and campaigns and whatnot for the midterms. So it's definitely going to get wilder because you got the left scratching and searching for leadership. But as far as like the scope on America, I mean, of course, I mean, I'm MAGA's town, dude. I want to see the golden age, and
Right.
I think that we're going to fold China, and you have already multiple automotive companies saying that they're going to move more production here to avoid tariffs. You have companies already saying they're investing trillions, fucking say it again, trillions of dollars, you know, for different shit, semiconductors and different mining fucking projects and so on and so on. So, I mean, we're going to see some jobs rolling in, and if we can actually bring in the money through tariffs and other means to excuse tax cuts without spending cuts, it'd be great. It'd be good times, man.
Hell yeah. Shit. So with Dan Bongino now and Cash Patel within the FBI, we're seeing a bit more of a ramping up on actually getting down to investigating and arresting these domestic terrorists, right? So, do you think, in terms of the leftist violence and attacks, do you think it's going to full on burn out and fucking or do you think it's just going to slowly fizzle out and fade away?
The terrorist acts with the Teslas and shit like that. I mean, you got to remember, Elon's only going to be around, the Trump admin for
Mhm.
another 50 days or so, and his appointment will be run out, and so that'll start calming it down immediately. I think
Do you think?
if see some real convictions with the terrorist tag and people get some real prison sentences from it, that's going to cut that shit down immediately. But the actual protests and stuff, I believe they're only going to get worse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think they're only going to get worse and stupider.
Yep, the summers of gloves. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for real. It's just now starting to get warm, and we know that the low IQ and fucking the zoo doors open up when it gets fucking above 100 degrees anywhere in this country. So you know,
Right. Speaking of which, we broke records here in Tucson. We reached 100, the earliest that we've ever seen. Well, since we started recording and stuff. Yes, the earliest that we've hit 100 degrees here in Tucson.
I
And
I
for
uh I live and work fucking north at a higher elevation, so
right,
I haven't got to see that yet, dude.
yeah,
Thank Jeebus. Yeah. Not
yeah,
to mention, dude, fucking, where I work, 99% of the time, it's always nice and fucking windy.
yeah,
Nice breeze happening. Good times.
yeah, yeah. All right, man. Anything else you want to throw on?
I mean,
Any?
ramp up for the fucking midterms, dude. Pressure your representatives. You know what you voted for. If you're watching this show, I would assume you're at least partially Magus town, and get on it because the Republicans are doing what they do best, which is the old snatch and defeat. Again, they haven't codified none of the fucking admin's policies, none of the EOs. Nothing's been turned into actual law, so it can all be redone with or undone rather of the next Democrat win, which could be in less than 4 years. And not to mention, it'll make Trump a lame duck if he loses in the midterms and nothing's been fucking codified. Everything's fucked. You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
pressure, dude. Fucking summon your inner fucking Pressler, just not gay.
right, right. Don't summon that one. No, don't tell him that, bro. No, no. Right. Uh, yep, definitely. Make sure you guys are out there fighting the good fight, keeping it Magus Town. Real quick though, speaking of congressmen, let's go ahead and check in on our congressman, old Juan Ciscomani. See how he's been doing. Let's see, pinned from September 12th. Nobody cares. From my family to yours. Wishing all celebrate a
Hey,
blessed and merciful Passover. All right.
see, man. See, man.
All right. Uh, let's see. Hold on. Passed HR 22, Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. I voted on HR 22, the SAVE Act, a straightforward, common sense bill that ensures only U.S. citizens can vote in U.S. elections. All right. Good job.
We didn't even talk about that. Like I said, man, that shit
All
passed
right.
today, and of course, the left's melting down. Every one of them voted against it, and it's voter suppression. You know what I'm saying? Demanding ID for fucking shit that you need to do anything in this fucking country. If you want to buy cold medicine in some states in this fucking country cities, you got to show ID. You know what I mean?
Well, that's because you can make meth, man.
Yeah, and of course you had Hakeem Jeffries and rat faced lizard king Schumer fucking file lawsuits against the Trump admin for the Save Act because that's proving your citizenship is fucking definitely racisms. And
Right.
if your constituents aren't illegal, why are you worried about illegals not being able to vote? You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
anyone that believes that they let fucking tens of millions of people in here for them not to vote or at minimum be counted in for fucking allotment power.
All wearing I love
Fuck.
Joe Biden shirts and shit.
Right.
Right. Yep. So California is definitely going to be pissed about this because, of course, don't they have a law that says it's illegal to ask for fucking
Yep.
ID for voting? Right.
Yeah.
So your fucking law has been fucking trumped. No pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be tied up in litigation. I mean, I'm sure, and
Yep. We've seen it pass it in
everything.
several states though already. So I mean, like
Right.
here, for example, we have Arizona ID that was passed, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, yeah, we got voter ID here in Arizona. So we as we could tell, it's legal. I mean, there's legal precedent for it that they'll be able to cite and be able to get the ball rolling on that a lot quicker. I'm pretty sure it's going to end up passing. I mean, it really is very fucking common sense. I don't know how much more common sense of anything you could get because, of course, as we've spoken about before, your right to vote isn't actually expressly granted from the Constitution. You don't have a constitutional right to vote technically.
Dude, every country in this planet, like as far as like advanced countries, I mean, to a certain level, have voter ID laws. Fucking Mexico, you have to have voter ID, man.
Right. Well, I guess there is the whole constitutionality thing, because it does say the only thing it really says on voting is that the states decide how it's how voting is conducted. So I guess there could be some sort of a argument that there's an overstep right there, but ultimately I don't think that's gonna matter at all. You know.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be fucking codified by Congress, and as long as everything goes through, dude. I mean, obviously Trump's going to sign it, but you just have to worry about the Senate, man, as always.
Right. Yep. Either way, we got it here in Arizona. I remember we fucking did a show about it, and I think of the thumbnail was Katie Hobbs all fucking pissed off signing this bill. It was one of those. Or no, that was a election integrity bill. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
good.
we've been going to town on fucking fixing our elections here in Arizona. Still probably not going to fix the whole fucking you don't get the results for at least a week. But
But that's what I was going to say. Is
yeah.
it really enough though? Because you had a fucking Tulsi Gabbard just come out and say that she has solid evidence that proves that voting machines can be flipped.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
mean, you got to wonder. I mean, you got to couple this. You got to get rid of the voting machines. I mean, and I've voted by mail for years, bro. But
Yeah.
if they were like, it's a national holiday, everybody votes on one day. Fucking no, everybody's got to vote in person except for like soldiers and people that are pushed out of the country, like for their corporation or what have you. But yeah, I mean, I would do it. I would
Fuck
totally
yeah.
agree to it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm totally up for that. But let's see. Here's another one. I'm committed to fighting for a budget reconciliation bill that will invest in border security, reduce waste, fraud, and abuse. How is he gonna fuck? Never mind. We'll get to that. Prevent the largest tax hike in American history. Protect, streamline, and improve vital services like SNAP, Medicaid, and Pell Grants. This sounds a
I hope
little
by streamline
contradictory.
he means cut the fucking fat, dude, for sure.
Right.
Because
Right.
again, those tax cuts. I mean, obviously, dude, that's one aspect of liberty I truly believe in is fuck taxes, right? It's theft.
Right.
But you got to offset that with spending cuts, man. I mean,
Right.
you can't just spend trillions of dollars and go, we're also cutting a trillion in taxes. And I understand the tariffs, but they've only brought in, in the billions. And we know like that's drops in the bucket when we're talking multi-trillion-dollar fucking, budgets.
Yeah. Yeah. So that one's a little bit iffy there, Juan. Unanimous support in the House for my bill, H.R. 1228, the Prioritizing Veteran Survivors Act. Survivors of the men and women who've made the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of our nation deserve to have their needs prioritized by the Department of Vet Affairs. Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily pertain to me. I do understand the whole, if you sent somebody off to go fucking die and shit like that, you should probably, take care of their family afterward they die and whatnot. Yeah, I'm not necessarily super like, yeah, we need it. I was military or anything like that, but at the same time, like I said, I understand the whole thing. I'm pretty sure he was ex-military as well too.
I understand the premise, dude, but I almost don't even want to speak on it. Like I'm not in the military. I haven't lost someone close to me because of militaristic affairs. But at the same time, it's just a constant, find different ways to get more monies or more money to other people. And,
Right.
I understand you served your country. Like, again, I'm not trying to take that away. I mean, without, the military, we wouldn't even be here. Right. But at the same time, it's like it's a fucking job. You got paid for it. You accepted the terms. And then when you get out some people obviously it fucks up their mind and they can't function, right? It's where you get your homeless veterans. But for, a large portion, they go on to be, pretty successful. They come out much more handy, much more mechanically inclined and educated. You know what
Right.
I mean? And you get education paid for afterwards and, so on and so on. Health insurance, which a lot of the people that are being forced to pay for that which, again, it's a must, but they can't afford health insurance themselves. But, we got to foot the bill for you, which is part of the package of the attractment of recruitment, right? But I mean, when does it end? Now it's like, then we pay for their kids, then we pay their wife, then we pay their, you know what I'm saying? We'll can throw their grandkids in, and you know what I mean?
Right. Well, I guess speaking on that, do you think, of course, I guess it's kind of a switch of gears, but do you think we're going to end up getting into any sort of, actual hot conflict somewhere in the world during this administration? Do you think he's going to be able to dodge
I mean,
all of
if
that? I mean,
we kind of have, I mean, with the Houthis, I mean,
right. But I mean, like
they
I
hit
say,
some targets.
right. That was, like I say, that wasn't necessarily like, constant, I guess,
It's
it's really
bombing a
hard,
foreign
I guess.
country.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But what
I
I
mean,
mean
there's
is,
no way around it. The anti-war president just came in and bombed fucking a foreign country. You know
right.
what I mean? And that's something I definitely don't agree with. And the Houthis, yeah, they're fucking pirates, and they're over there fucking blowing up, shipping shit. But it's the vast majority of it's not ours. You know
Right.
what I mean? Just like the signal fucking exchange, JD Vance saying, like, dude, I'm tired of bailing these fucking people out, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
fuck, dude, Europe, pull your head out of your ass. Quit worrying about fucking gays and Muslims and throwing people in prison for fucking Facebook posts. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
take care of your shit. Like, that's your money. You know what I mean?
But I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, do you think it's going to be anything more than just like strikes and like, just like, fucking quick, take this motherfucker out type things? Or do you think we're going to get into any sort of actual like full scale where we set up bases and fucking, their cities and shit like that?
Well, from what I understand, he's trying to close bases, and then you have of course the mongers. Oh, it's been pushing us to war with Iran for decades, but apparently Iran's come out and like, dude, we're willing to negotiate with the Trump administration. Like these fools are crazy. I mean, so and then do you believe them? It's like you really don't know what to get from that. I would hope not, but I mean, with the conflicts around, I mean, there's always that possibility. But I don't think that's anyone in the admin's intentions, especially like Pete Hegseth. I don't think that that's his thing. I think he's trying to focus more on reforming the military itself. And
Yeah.
it's hard to say at this point. But if it does pop off, I think that that's who it will be with. It won't be with Russia.
Yeah.
It won't be with China. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? We're not going to go fucking finish blowing up Hamas or whatever. I think
Yeah.
that's who it'll be is Iran.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I think too. I think it's definitely going to be something within the Middle East, because of course anything that has to do with Iran, obviously their allies is really the rest of the Middle East as well too, for the most part. And at the same time, there's already conflicts taking place all over, in the Middle East right now. So I'm pretty sure if anything was to, end up we'd get further involved, it'd be something around that region.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was saying earlier. Like, of course, there's something going on in there. It's been fucking millennia of just nonstop conflict.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the spot, man. Well, we'll see how it goes, though. I mean, of course, we also do have I don't think fucking anything's going to end up ever taking place with China. And China just fucking went over to Ukraine and got fucking annihilated.
I mean, plus, I mean, we know that their actual like GDP, like per capita, is terrible, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like the average income there is like what, $5,000 or something a year. It's only the coastal areas where people, are high end and live in high rises and shit like that. And the paper tiger thing is for real. I mean, without people there that are willing or are able to be forced to work for fucking pennies, they got shit, man.
Right. Yep. So they're a big old fucking emaciated communation, man. That's the way that it goes.
They're literally following the USSR trajectory as far as I'm concerned. Like
Yeah.
how they're building up all this military shit, but they have entire ghost towns, basically cities that were built just to keep people working. It's basically the state subsidizing everybody. And eventually they're going to be completely broke, especially if we break our dependence on them, because we're literally like a third of their fucking GDP. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
then not to mention other people that aren't necessarily American, but purchase products to sell like as a third party to America. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, fucking China's fucked. But all right, man. Fucking anything else you want to talk about before we're rolling out of here?
I guess that was it, dude.
All right, man. So yep. Make sure you guys are checking up on your congressmen's, women's, what the fuck have you. But make sure you're checking up on them, seeing what they're up to, what they've been voting on, how they've been
Shit
voting.
down their necks.
All right, talk some shit to them. Look, fucking our some shit. He'll probably end up seeing it, even if he doesn't actually fully read it. He'll probably see it. But yeah, ultimately, speak to your congressman, especially with the age of social media. We have the capabilities of doing so now.
Yeah, especially if you got a page with like a bunch of followers and stuff, dude. Definitely be posting on their social media.
Right. Absolutely.
Yep, if your post gets engagement, they'll definitely notice it. At least,
Yep.
at least they're people, they're handlers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The people that give them their morning briefings, along with
Yeah.
their
Or the people that
circle,
actually run their social media.
along with their coffee and quick stroke. All right, man. Well, we appreciate you guys stopping by. As always, don't forget to like this video, share it out with your friends. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section. If there's anything that you wanted us to talk about tonight, go ahead and let us know. Maybe we'll go ahead and comment our thoughts on that as well. Because, like I said, we just kind of played it fast and loose. There's not really so much going on right now, other than the economy, trade wars, the left fucking hating Trump. Oh yeah, the military is going down to secure the southern border. That's some good shit. Yeah, blacks killing whites. All right, like, subscribe, share. Fuck off.
Later.